You said that you would kind of like some feedback on this, and you'll get some in class. But at the same time, um, as I take a look at what you did for this assignment, it's really not bad. I mean, you've got the historical context correct? We did that as a class, so I expect you would. Audience, that's very true. If you're saying that the intended audience, being the principal, is looking for an unbiased eyewitness of the event, that's really something not everybody picked up on in terms of, yes, the audience is a principal, but how can we describe the principal? Well, he's somebody looking for an unbiased eyewitness of the event. Perfect, jackpot. Now, purpose, to be able, yeah, sure, kind of. If I was being flippant, I would say the cafeteria's workers' response is to tell this principal what he needs to know, so he'll leave me alone and I can get along with my job. If we think about who a cafeteria worker generally is, they're not too into the inner workings of what's going on with individual students. So maybe I guess that's acceptable, but maybe that would be the one thing I'd say you'd want to rethink and kind of change your answer, but it's still acceptable. Point of view, you don't necessarily want to say unbiased, but that's acceptable. Once again, that's kind of the limit of this situation. This task is easier in the sense that we don't have to know how to do a ton of history, and we can start working on happy earlier. But at the same time, it gets harder because it's like, well, you say the same thing for every single one, and we know very little about each person. They're just a source number, right? So I would say that point of view is acceptable. Just if we're talking about actual historical documents, you'll want to say less that they're unbiased. You'll want to say, because they'll never be unbiased for one thing. So maybe that's what I'm getting at is what I'm taking issue with is that word is that you would go into more depth about their lack of bias. This person is a cafeteria. This person is not affiliated with any of the kids. They're a cafeteria worker. They're an adult, etc. Those are the sorts of things I would want to hear because that's what tells me that they're unbiased. When you go to write your historical essays, that is what we're going to want to hear because the readers know that they're unbiased. They know, I mean, shoot, they could write a better essay than I could about this because they've been doing it for so long. So you just want to give them your evidence, right? Show them that you know. Don't just tell them the right answer. Show them that you know it. So that's probably longer than I wanted to spend on that one. But then we go down here to your why. This supports my thesis because they're an eyewitness that isn't close to either of the boys in the incident. Good. Maybe you could give in a little bit more details about, the cafeteria said, I think it was an accident, right? Just a little bit more evidence in there. But otherwise, you did good with this one. Little sparse, but that's kind of the way it goes, I suppose, with this one. So that's all. That's the gist of what I wanted to tell you.